Deep 2 together with Bloodprint. Oh, does this man a Tears a gamer? He got himself Exsanguinate together with Vendetta. Could potentially be big rogue burst. Shilpas on the Frost Death Knight. Heat Motion on that Kyrian Shammy. We got ourselves Kin, unless he no longer Kyrian. Kin on the Survival Hunter. And Khalil Jr. in the back. Going to be promptly launched up in 3, 2. There we go. Shilpa's going to be first one on his big old mound. Where's the Cena? Looking to make a scene, looking to make a bloody scene with Shilpa's going for that cheap shot opener. Kyrian setup right after is going to go for a big burst. Shilpa's got himself big damey. Going to be a kidney shot by the rogue. Going to be a stunner to Cena. It's going to be a pet. Going to summon up. Cena going for a late trinket. Going to be a big burst, but the Cloak of Shadows is keeping him alive from the dragon. But the obliterates. Just doing so much damage. Cena. Oh, that rogue got slaughtered over on the field. Oh my God! Clean up on aisle 9. That rogue. Oh, what the? Sensei, his BDB hit the wall. I don't know if that actually hits Chill Pills with the burst. Does BDB even affect Chill Pills? Because there's a Z-axis thing. If an ability hits an enemy, if it's way too high up or way too low, it doesn't actually affect them. And it hit the boxes, so I don't know if that BDB actually hit Chill Pills. I guess we'll find out if his health really gets like really critical, but it didn't look like he was getting bursted. Chill Pills does have a Zoan biting at his toes though. Biting his little tippy toes. Sensei is trying to see and maintain himself as best as possible. Chilpa something to go for a flesh craft. It was a nice slow into Sensei, making sure he can't get over there to stop the flesh craft immediately. Is going to ramp up that stun. Silence to Sensei. Could potentially get a trick out of him. Going to be Sensei with a human racial. Popping up big defenses. Is going to be a big grip for Chilpa. Just trying to disrupt the heal. Sensei does have a port ready to go. As Chilpas did use Pillar of Frost. Sensei no longer has a trinket though. He does have Relentless, so he can sit a lot of that CC. A little bit less long. But he doesn't have a way to break out of that stun guaranteed. Gonna be a big spin, so the Chilpa's trying to get a little bit of healing. Has himself full bar runic power. Is gonna be the Lichborn with a Death Coil spam. Flash cut by Sensei. Chilpa's is gonna interrupt it for a second and is gonna get himself an obliterate in between of that. Just try to get himself a bit more resources. Continuing to get himself Death Coils fueled as much as possible. Does Chilpas have a pet anymore? I think he used it way earlier. Is gonna go for that Death Pact. Necrotic's out a portion of his health, but at least he has himself a full health bar to work with, so he might be able to make something happen right now. A Sensei looking for that go versus Chilpas at some point. Going to be in cap. Is going to be able to get the open up BDB onto Chilpas. Does have IBF for this. Is going to be able to reduce a lot of this damage. Going to be a chain of ice onto Sensei. As Chilpas got himself full burst. Going to be a stunner to Sensei. Does he have himself the biggest setup? Blinded to Chilpas right now. Going to be a silence right after. Chilpas just goes for the MS. Trying to see if he can crack 3 defenses. Sensei just go down. Oh my goodness, boys! And it's going to yoink Seaverk in and just going to vamp on him with a couple of death strikes. But Seaverk is like, yo, wait, hold on, I'm gonna get a reset. Here's a poly. We can have a proper honor duel. Hit him with the Mirrors of Torment. Chilpas does get himself a proper honor duel. At least he gets put back to full health. I think literally at some point I saw Chilpas just stand still and Seaverk hit him with the poly. I think Chilpas was like, you know what, poly me. At least I'm gonna get a full health bar. He's like, yes, I want this. I want this. At least as much of an honor duel as I can. But Chilpas does get himself silenced, so it's gonna be big damage on Chilpas. Does burn a trick at the very end. Chilpas trying to see if he might be able to survive the burst out of Seaverk. Does go for as many death strikes as possible. It's gonna give himself whatever health he can, but that's gonna be mass explosion of Arcane versus Chill. Does go for a flesh cut as Seaverk trying to reposition, landing that interrupt at the last second with that barrage breaking through a lot of that flesh cut shielding. Does Chilpas have a ghoul that he can summon again? First aid really quickly as soon as he saw that Arcane Blast go by. It missed him, rip. Unfortunately, but so it did miss him the first BDB. So that first BDB by the monk missed Chilpas. That's how he survived that first go. That would have been deadly otherwise. Be very, very careful, boys, with your Z-axis. Very, very careful. There's going to be grip by Chilpas. I think mostly just trying to disrupt Seaverk by gripping him closer. Or grip him out of position. It's going to be second grip. Blind. Does Chilpas have himself with big remorses? He does. Potentially going to go for big damage setup. Pillar of Frost. It's going to be big damage. Seaverk does actually end up immuning it. Potentially. I think he did. It's going to be a stun to Seaverk. Does end up going for human racial. Going to be Mirrors of Torment to follow it. Chilpas does not have any more defenses. There's going to be a lot of death coils. It's going to go for that death pack just to give himself a little bit extra health to work with. Big burst potentially could put Chilpas really behind. Does not really have a way to heal himself right now. Touch of the Magic does get him real low. Is completely necrotic out. Big barrage. Oh, no health whatsoever. I think it might be over unless he gets himself a heal out of nowhere. Let's go for a Lichborn. Waited out for the Mirrors of Torment. Actually catching up a little bit of health. Anti-magic zone in case Seaverk pushes in. Chilpas needs himself a lot of health recovery. Does have IBF very, very soon. Is going to get a root onto Seaverk. Or slow rather. with first aid. And Chupa's trying to do whatever he can to recover health. There's going to be Arcane Orb disrupting it. IBO for Chupa's really quickly is going to get an interrupt onto Arcane from Seavark as he's trying to get himself a little bit of damage, a little bit of resources. He's going to try to maybe land this on Seavark. Potentially could. Immortal Winter stacking up. Potentially could do it. It's going to be blind on Seavark as he goes for a temporal. Chupa's continuing to build up as much damage as possible. It's going to be AMS for this burst. Might actually get himself a lot of runic power off of it. With AMS, I'd be able to build up some runic power for the Death Knight. AMS did not last long at all. Barrage around the corner. Does have the goal. Could sacrifice it right before Seavark ends up executing it. That's exactly what he needed. My goodness, 5 minutes into the duel, boys, Dampening going to slowly roll in, and it's a full flesh cup for Chill Pills as he gives himself a little bit of health recovery here. Has himself Marilath, so at least a little bit of health recuperation, plus CC immunity for a short amount of time. Mirrors of Torment surrounding Chill Pills. Any next few spells he casts, abilities he uses, or auto attacks he executes are going to eventually silence him and root him. Going for the silence of the Seavark as Chill Pills trying to execute some big bursts of his own. It's going to be that silence. Trick inside of immediately. Seavark tries to go for a blink. It's going to be Chill Pills getting kind of low on health. Could potentially be burst out of the Seavark. It's going to go for massive damage. It's going to be Seavark surprise bursted out by Chill Pills. It's going to go for the ice block. The Chill Pills let Seavark come out of the ice block. Now to the magic with some missiles. Chill Pills might have been in a bad spot. That could be a lot of damage. He has defenses coming back up very, very soon. Death strikes could happen. AMS right at the last second moment. It's going to be another grip on the Seavark. There's going to be AMS for a second. It's going to use blind onto all these images and try to just build as much resources as he can off of those. Could potentially go for a death bag behind the pillar. Is going to go for a death bag behind the pillar. Slowing down Seavark, at least keeping him at bay, making it harder for Seavark to approach him. Just trying to slow down the mage to a crawl. You big yoink. Is just trying to see if he can maintain a little bit of pressure, at least resource generation. Definitely needs to hide behind the pillar. Create some line of sight. Has got himself Lichborn again with Death Call spam. It just needs a little bit more resources as Seavark is trying to set up and Mirrors of Torment. Big first aid for Chill Pills as you're looking to recover. Death of Coil, Death of Decay down. Silence on the Seavark as Chill Pills gets hit by Mirrors of Torment. Trying to make some big burst obliterates happen. Seavark does himself altar time, so most likely he's going to cancel that altar. And Chill Pills looking for that. Oh, no, actually does not cancel the altar. He used it to reposition next to Chill Pills. As you can see with the Root and the Silence, actually Death Knight is limited on what he can do. Big time Charm Magic getting set up. Chill Pills could potentially get a big grip and a big Death Strike off the Seavark after takes a bunch of damage. AMS is back up. Could potentially use the last second here. Gonna be a big blast on the Seavark. AMS is getting used by the Death Knight. Trying to reduce a lot of the magic damage. Keep the Seavark solid. Seavark blasted through the AMS very, very quickly. But those Death Calls still continue to heal even a 40% dampener. Chill Pills stops in place for a second. I'm not sure what happened, but it's going to be a big grip onto Seavark. Blind to follow. Does Chill Pills have himself maybe potentially big damage? He's going to go for a flash cut defensively. He's trying to get himself Remorse Wind to set up. Does not have himself the big obliterates or anything, but he's just trying to see if he can chop through Seavark either way. Polymorph on the Chill Pills as Seavark is looking to reposition as the ghoul is chasing after the mage. He's going to have to blast out the ghoul, but isn't really given opportunity to get himself a lot of self-healing. Chill Pills approaching him as Chill Pills recovered fully. Death and Decay on one side. Seavark got himself all the time. We will be able to recover a little bit of health. That Death and Decay is just putting pressure on you. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but just enough to keep you a little bit more on your toes and on edge. Silence of the Seavark can't do anything. I think it might be over. Just needs one more blast. Big rip and just slams down. He waited for that big oblit with a Death Decay onto Lazy Cat. Wait, did Chicago leave? Did Chicago even get a chance to play? I think Chicago might have been AFK'd. That's super unfortunate, but Chill Pills still has the cat to get through. And also, actually, everybody on Team Chilled is still alive and still healthy, except for Chill Pills, who's literally already bleeding out. Seavark, I'm sorry about that, man. Yeah, it's a pretty tough matchup against the Death Knight. All those grips, all that range, even with that trinket, they still find a way to like silence you. And you see that CC just 20% longer, which can be deadly in some cases. It is definitely rough, man. But Chill Pills is prepared for you, man. He was like, yo, I'm gonna play as best I can. And she's can against this mage. Gonna be a blind or Lazy Cat. And Chill Pills trying to set up a big stun. Does he have himself maybe a big grippy hand? It's gonna be a big grippy hand versus Lazy. Does he catch back up? He has himself a big blitz. It's gonna be a stun on Lazy Cat. Let's go for a trick and immediately gonna be Lazy trying to see if he can get a stun onto Chill Pills. Does he have himself full runic power? Gonna go for a bunch of death strikes. It's gonna be a bunch of death strikes. Silence on the Lazy Cat too. But it's also gonna be mate. Oh, the bleeds though. My goodness. Bloodprint gonna be next. Is this man playing full bursty? Is playing Assassination. Does he have that tier set bonus though? Trying to get some dots on a Lazy Cat. Potentially maybe a trinket out of the cat's burst. Not gonna do so. Vendetta, Sepsis, got himself full burst. Does he go for that vanish? It's gonna be a full burst. Trying to make the bleeds happen. Lazy Cat with a wall and Barks trying to give himself as much survivability as possible. Looks like Blood does not play with 100% crit legendary. Otherwise you put all those dots, you vanish, and then the enemy just melts you liquidate them. Blueprint does get himself a Garrote onto the Feral, getting a shot as Lazy Cat does have himself full flesh count. The Rogue has big bleeds on him, and the Rogue is just gonna melt. Literally didn't have to touch him. Kalel up next, just going for the pistol shots, making sure that Lazy cannot get himself a reset. Quick roll by Lazy, gonna be a Cyclone Trinket and a gouge by Kalel. Lazy just gonna sit in barrel for him until he got a stun. He just got a trinket out of this Rogue. So it might be a little bit tough. Thorns, Bash, Kalel doesn't really have much to work with. It's going to be a full dots gets out by Lazy, but actually going to be a kid shot full. Barskin is up. Kalel still has a lot of damage you can maybe make happen here. No more Cloak of Shadows. Is getting Lazy kind of low. Lazy is going to have himself emergency healing. Bear form, and there's going to be Barskin in it. There's going to be another Frenzy Regen to follow. Quick maim onto Kalel. Just needs to get the bleeds, big enough bleeds on there, and you'll be good to go. Blind by Kalel Jr. though, as he's looking for that full-on reset. Sap onto Lazy, as he's gonna go himself for the big Cosmic Trinket. It looks like Lazy found himself Trinket in the last second. Kalel tried to offset his burst and the Cosmic Trinket a ton. Maybe when you went for the full burst, maybe if he had Cosmic Trinket with it. I think, wait, Kalel just died, and he died to the dots, but also the Kevin Slime just spitting on him. He just put dots, and Lazy literally put dots, walked away, and the man just melted. My goodness. Ken is gonna be up next, trying to see if he could blast out Lazy Cat as the second to last holding the forward for the team 2. Again, not sure what happened to Chicago, but Lazy Cat is playing for 2. Gonna be that pet charging out to Lazy, is gonna be able to interrupt him. Kin dropping out in raids. That's gonna be a maim onto Kin. Does not burn a trinket. That is gonna be pet sack though, as Lazy loads him up full of dots. It's gonna be a root onto Kin. Is able to break out of it with a disengage, trying to stay in his flare as best as possible. Lazy just looking for a bit of a reset. Quick maim onto Kin. Is that gonna be full dots? That's gonna be that Dora shadows by Kin, trying to see if he can disorient Lazy. But he got himself manic bandage, but the Moonfire is gonna break that heal. At least Kin was able to remove the bleeds, so at least a lot of the dot damage isn't quite melting him. As Lazy is just looking for, I guess, looking to finish it out. As Kin try to get himself a reset stun. I think it's over for Kin. Big bite and heat motion is the last one left. Trying to make that chamois work. Doing the very best he can. Lazy going for the big old stun. Knock back onto the cat immediately. And Emotes should be able to get some cast off immediately. There's going to be wall with Earth Elemental, or Earth Elemental could potentially use the wall from Earth Elemental, but the stun definitely gets used. There goes the wall, trying to use defenses early. Lazy try to see if he can avoid those lava bursts. It's going to be that totem. He can't really walk into the totem. He can't really walk out of it. He's kind of like on the outside of it in a weird spot. But it's not really stopping in place. He's going to Moonfire that Sky Fury a couple of times. Did hit motion apply a current totem down? Going to be the stun onto Lazy. It is doing quite a bit of damage, but it is DR from the Earth Elemental stun. Maybe to heat motion. I think it might be over. I think heat motion just has him in the bag. Bash to follow to try to get the bleeds. That's over. Just didn't give him a chance. Lazy apparently won the 1v5. I did not realize that. Feral 1v5? Oh my goodness, boys. Druid? Damn, yeah. Druids are nuts, man. Druids are insane. That rogue got bled out. Both rogues actually just got bled out to dots, and the Feral was just like...